Eagles offense?
Yeah, the pass game right now feels very predictable, and that's very specific to A.J. Brown. 10 times yesterday, 10. They had A.J. Brown basically line up at the same spot and run essentially the same route. Now, at times it works because he's A.J. Brown, but there has to become more variance in relation to A.J. Brown's route running and what they do off of it. There's a reality where the defense just knew what he was running. Bottom of the screen, he's going to go up 5 yards and run an in-breaker. You're going to motion him 2 or 3 yards outside the numbers. He goes run up 5 yards and basically sit at an in-breaker. He's 4 yards outside the numbers. He's going to go to 5 yards and run an in-breaker. He's going to line up 3 or 4 yards outside the numbers, and he's going to run a 5-yard in-breaker. I mean, these are just way too consistent. Now, they get away with it at times because he is so dominant. But if I'm watching this and you're a defensive coordinator and you're saying when A.J. Brown is 5 yards or 4 yards outside of the numbers, A.J. Brown is going to push up to 5 yards and run a slant or a short in. And so through 2 games, there's just this minimization of the routes that A.J. is running, and there is a predictability. You watched it on the Chiefs. They kind of knew exactly where A.J. was going to go in relation to where he was starting in the game, or at least where he was starting his route lineup-wise and where he ends up. So there needs to be some route variation for A.J. Brown in their pass game to get better. They win the game. They made some big-time plays. But that is something they have to look at.
And this is what I said when discussing this game before about Kevin Patullo and how there's been nobody open for Jalen Hurts to work with in both games, really, the Cowboys game and this game. And that's not on Jalen Hurts. That's why it's so ridiculous that we want to keep criticizing Jalen Hurts for only throwing for 101 yards or whatever it may be. And it's like, where did you, Orlovsky went over through obviously a handful of the highlights, like, where do you want Jalen Hurts to go with the ball? That's why I said a couple of days ago that Jalen Hurts against the Kansas City Chiefs was an elite game manager, which I use in a very positive way. I know not everyone says game manager positively. I mean it in a positive way. You're crazy if you think managing a game is a bad thing. It's a shame, but I still have to always give that caveat every time I say it, because you need to be an elite game manager to be an elite quarterback. That's how it works, okay? I already know Jalen Hurts is a game changer and a game breaker. So he managed this game. He never tried to do too much. That is why the Philadelphia Eagles were able to come away with this win. Okay? He was very smart and took care of the ball. But it's up to the Eagles offense and the offensive coordinator to find better ways to get this offense going. And that is incredibly important. And I want to show you a couple highlights of plays that were actually in the beginning of the Texans versus Bucks game that Jalen Hurts just never seems to benefit from, or the fact that none of these plays are ever drawn up or designed. And I find it indefensible because the Eagles do have the bodies, but the Eagles have done this since last year specifically. I don't really care as much about 23, but 24, obviously, when they won the Super Bowl now this year, is that it's just very much like, we got better guys than you, so we don't care if there's a lot of just tight coverage on us. Like, we're never trying to actually do things in a way that make things easy for our offense. We're just going to trust that our guys are better than your guys, and that's it, right? It's what I always call is the Ron Swanson example. Like when Ron Swanson in Parks and Rec goes to like Home Depot or something like that, and the one guy's like, "Hey, how can I help you?" And he just looks at him and he goes, "I know more than you." And the guy's like, "Okay," and then he just like walks away. That's how the Eagles offense has been run now. We're just like, we got a great roster, a great team. We're just gonna trust that our guys find a way. And it's a hard way to live. And that's not how Shane Steichen ran his offense. But I'm going to show you a couple clips that I think tell a story. But before I do that, I do want to point out, and this is what's so frustrating, and I'm making this clip a little bit earlier, so I might have showed this before by the time you're watching this video, because it's hard to predict what the conversations will be over these next couple of days. But like, what's really irritating to me about the conversation around Jalen Hurts and this Philadelphia Eagles offense is that they see something like this: 15 for 22, 101 yards, a rushing TD, and blitzed on 14 of 25 dropbacks, which is a ton, by the way. But this is what I'll quickly show you here, is because he's already just a couple blitz attempts away from being in the top 10 for pass attempts. And you can see, right, he's right next to Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes was able to throw a touchdown, but got an interception. We can see Kyler Murray, touchdown, interception. Sam Darnold, 2 interceptions. Bo Nix, an interception. Dak Prescott, an interception. Like, Jalen Hurts here is taking care of the ball. You can see these other quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, 52.6 completion percentage when being blitzed. Stafford 65, Sam Darnold 56, Bo Nix 54, Penix 62, Caleb Williams rough at it, 39%, and Jalen Hurts is right at 61%. So again, all within range. And then you can see these other guys like Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, Justin Herbert. You have all these guys that are way below what Jalen Hurts has been, asked to do in terms of when dealing with the pressure. You can see in terms of average depth of target here, Jalen Hurts 7.3, Patrick Mahomes 4.3. Though some of these things matter. They really do. This is what Jalen Hurts is facing. It's 13 to 10, 3rd and 10, so 3rd and long, in a gotta have it moment. Off that interception, 4th quarter, 10 minutes to go, a drive that's not really, that's really sluggish, in quicksand, essentially. And the Chiefs bring the absolute house, and Jalen Hurts gets this throw off and hits Devontae Smith for a massive gain. The throw of the game, the play of the game offensively. It was really those 3 minutes of the interception and then this play right here. And it's like, this is such a monumental play. This is the game right here. Jalen Hurts could have been sacked. He could have been intercepted. He could have just thrown a bad ball, and now it's 4th and 10, and, it's just like, who knows what type of situation that they're in there. That saves the game tremendously right there. Even if they're able to kick a really, really long field goal, maybe they miss it. Maybe they make it. Now it's 16-10. Chiefs score a touchdown, 17-16. This was a massive play. A massive play. And it was executed as good as you could want it to be. Especially considering the circumstances here. This was the best pause that I could do it at, because he gets his head knocked off. I know it's blurry because it's all I can do. I have to just pause it when I can. There's no way to get a clear frame of it. But like, that red blob is literally going through the green blob of Jalen Hurts. Getting that throw off, he had to release the ball like here. He couldn't even get through. It's a remarkable play. It's an absolute remarkable play. And in an absolute crucial moment of this game that now directly leads to a touchdown. And that was a play of the game, and it just doesn't get enough credit for that play and gets all the blame for the Eagles' lack of passing attack. Like, he's out there making plays like this blob right here, and yet we want to then blame him for why he's only thrown like 100 yards or something. It's ridiculous. It really is. It's ridiculous. And now let me show you other clips. Here's just a basic passing play for CJ Stroud. He's got some protection, nothing too crazy, able to step in the pocket, step up in the pocket and make a nice, easy, gentle throw that then turns into a massive gain. And the Eagles clearly have better offensive weapons, better O-line, and yet you're yet to see a play like this out of this offense. And it's all scheme. It's all scheme. I mean, first off, just look how open the guy is in the middle field, right by the Texans logo. But you'll watch. I mean, this is just a nice, easy little 8-yard pass, essentially. Okay? And then he's now going to be able to catch it in space. This is where Saquon, in this type of play, this should be Saquon, this should be Devontae. There's many options, obviously, in versatility with the Eagles offense here. But just any quarterback can make this play. Any quarterback can make this play. You can see that it's just a few yards beyond the line of scrimmage. And then able to catch it now. And then he's now just able to absolutely just take off. And it ends up being a huge pickup that takes him down to the 18-yard line. And it was just a basic concept, a basic passing play, a smart play call at the right time, and well executed, well run. And it turns into a huge pickup that you just never get to see Jalen Hurts benefit throughout this Eagles offense. And then I'm going to give you another example of a play. But this is something where it's just like, you got the guys to do this, but every play to AJ, to Devontae, to Saquon, it's always in a way where it's like you just can't get these guys the ball with any type of separation, any type of space to run. There's just never any room for that. And it's not on Jalen Hurts. It's 100% not on Jalen Hurts here. Okay, this was Baker Mayfield's second touchdown pass of the game, where he's able just to get rid of the ball very quickly, throw the ball like 3 yards down the field, and right at the 20-yard, not where the 20-yard line is, but, essentially at the 15-yard line, he's able to catch this ball and then have blockers set up. Again, this is where Devontae could be. This is where AJ could be. This is just very basic. This is very easy. You're able to get to the ball at the 15-yard line and then be able to easily run it in for a touchdown. Is able to get it, get the block, and then he's going to be able to avoid this guy because, again, also pick up the block and go right into the end zone. And brings it in for the score. I mean, very basic, very easy, very simple, very schemed up. Very schemed up. That's not the benefit that Jalen Hurts gets. And so many of these touchdown passes that you see over the weeks and through all these games, so rarely are they actually thrown into the end zone. I feel like we need to have it's 2025. I feel like we need to have a different metric on the box score of like actual touchdown passes being passes that are actually like into the end zone or like a couple yards away from the end zone. Because these are yak touchdowns, and it's just something that Jalen Hurts does not benefit from. Seemingly every single one of Jalen Hurts' touchdowns always have to be actual throws into the end zone, one-on-one, jump ball. Like, everything is always so difficult. Always, always, always. Again, that's not on Jalen Hurts. And you know what's crazy to me? Is that we look at coaching all the time for the quarterbacks that we want to, or the quarterbacks that we want to defend, okay? And yet, anytime there's any disruption, like people are complaining about this passing game, and understandably so, in the first couple of weeks, yet have you heard any of these guys bring up the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles? Or is it, what's wrong with Jalen? What's wrong with Jalen? What's wrong with Jalen? A.J. Brown, Jalen. Just like, are we serious right now? Seriously, are we serious right now? It's just crazy to me. It really is. I mean, just look at the lack of yak that Jalen Hurts has gotten so far. I mean, he's at the bottom of the NFL. He has 115. The only people that are below him are some rookies, young quarterbacks, Zach Wilson, Mitch Trubisky, right? So, I mean, for all intents and purposes here, he's a Mac Jones, played one game and already has more yak than Jalen Hurts. That's a problem. That's a problem. And when you can see the coverages and the lack of open receivers here, you can see why it happens. It's not a matter of accuracy or anything like that, okay? You're not going to tell me that all these guys are just throwing more accurate balls than Jalen Hurts, right? Caleb Williams has been insanely inaccurate so far. Spencer Radler, Tua Tagovailoa has been all over the place. Bryce Young, Bo Nix had a rough game one, in week one, has 217 yards after catch. These guys aren't open. No room to run. And this has been a recurring theme for this Eagles offense. But not in 2022 with Shane Steichen, when he was able to scheme guys open, get them the ball in space, and Jalen Hurts was able to be top 10 in yards after catch. But after that, it's just been down, 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 down. It's not a Jalen Hurts problem. It's a coaching problem. It's a scheme problem. It is not on Jalen Hurts. That much is incredibly obvious. And you know what's really cool about this list right here in 2022? His completed air yards. Okay, so he's now top 10 in yards after catch. And his completed air yards per completion is actually higher than everyone else. He's tied with Geno Smith, but he's higher than Aaron Rodgers at 5.2, Kirk Cousins 6.1, Joe Burrow 5.6, Goff 5.6, Brady 4.9, Herbert 4.7, Patrick Mahomes 5.5. So he's throwing farther passes, a farther average depth of target per completion than all these other quarterbacks, but getting less yards after catch. It's not an accuracy problem. It is not an accuracy problem here. I mean, he had 77.8% on target rate. Patrick Mahomes, 77.1. Justin Herbert, these are all quarterbacks that have more yak, 75.6. Jared Goff, 76.2. Tom Brady, 77.1. Again, he had them nearly all beat except for Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers, and Geno Smith. This is not an accuracy problem. I mean, here's A.J. Brown and his separation at 2.1. Romeo Doubs, DK Metcalf, C.D. Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Quentin Johnston, Michael Pittman, Juju Smith-Schuster, Hunter Renfrow, Travis Kelce, Zach Ertz, Brock Bowers, Xavier Legette. Juwan Jennings. These are all receivers who are getting the ball essentially with defenders who are farther. They're farther away from at the time of the catch. So it's just like Puka Nacua is a full point higher at 3. Rome Odunze, Hollywood Brown, Thornton. Definitely was boosted by those wide open throws and from against the Eagles. Dalton Kincaid, Jalen Waddle, Cole Kmet. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. These are all players. Zay Flowers, practically wide open all day. Calvin Ridley. I mean, and you got A.J. Brown at the bottom, essentially. So, like, on a play like this, where do you want him to go with the ball? They're like, oh, he's got time in the pocket. Where do you want him to throw the ball? Even if he's able to get the ball, and obviously I can't see. I don't remember exactly. I just know that it's A.J. Brown right here at the bottom of the screen. But it's just like, even if he got them to A.J. here, or Devontae, or Dotson, or, whichever tight end's in at that moment of time. Even if he's able to make a tight window throw and a completion here, what's the gain here? It's just a catch and tackle. But it's Jalen Hurts' fault. He needs to see the field better. And this is where it's like, you can't blame Jalen Hurts for just being like, you know what, let me just run up. I kind of got that lane a little bit to my right. And if I pick up a block by like a Devontae or whoever, I can get around the edge and At least I can get close to a first down here. At least I can do something, but there's nothing here. There's just absolutely nothing here. So it's like, what are you supposed to do with that? Seriously. I mean, the best play is the check down to Saquon, and Jalen Hurts does it. He literally does. I mean, there's nowhere else for him to go with the ball, and he takes a check down, and it's smart. It's the right decision. It's the right decision, and he does it. But look at this closeout by the Chiefs. Saquon gets it and is going to be immediately met. Now, Saquon's still Saquon, but you would like, at least in a way where you could maybe get some of this, where if you do have to check it down, or if you're going to try to work the ball to Saquon, it's like, well, you'd like to have it in a way where he could pick up a block here. If he could just get a block, that could turn into a 15, 20-yard pickup, but he can't get that. I mean, look where he's met with contact. Right at the line of scrimmage. I mean, Saquon gets the ball and then immediately has to lean down and start to brace for contact. So even in a check down there, unless Saquon pulls out a little bit of magic here, it's going to be no gain, a gain of a yard, right? Rather than in a more ideal situation that you at least get 3 yards, 4 yards, 5, whatever it may be. These are all little things that just make this passing game in quicksand. But it's all Jalen Hurts' fault. And now this is tough because now there can maybe be someone kind of open in the middle of the field. It's going to be a little bit of a tough throw. It's a little bit harder to see, but there's, a Chiefs player who's ready to meet Jalen Hurts. And so now Jalen Hurts is flushed out of the pocket here. So he's either got to run and make a great, a very difficult throw, but instead he's going to use his legs, and he's now, he gets flushed out of the pocket and is able to now rip off a run here. And I think he gets the first down, or just shy of the first down. So he moves the chains now with his legs. But again, he's immediately flushed out of that pocket and still gets up a big pickup here. So, yeah. The Eagles got to figure something out. But it is a coaching and scheme issue, not a Jalen Hurts issue. And it's something that they have to figure out sooner rather than later. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles? Their passing issues, we'll call them. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.